Welcome everybody. I'm here today with a review of the awesome Mossberg 590 Special Purpose Shotgun. And this is a review that I've been promising for some time now, and have been, I guess, kind of lazy, kind of busy. You know how it goes. So today we're out here on a beautiful December day, just checking things out, shooting it a little bit, checking the spread patterns, and now I'm finally ready to do the review of the Mossberg 590 Tactical Shotgun. Again, you can kind of see it here. I only have a few modifications on this shotgun. Everything else is factory, and we're going to go ahead and jump into the review now. Okay, again, out here doing a stump top review. Probably my favorite means by which to give a review, because we get outside, enjoy the beautiful weather, and we can talk about guns or knives or whatever for a little bit. But again, you're seeing the Mossberg 590 Special Purpose Shotgun. And let's start out with a little bit of hype from the Mossberg website, although I believe it's pretty true. But it says, guard dogs have to be fed, walked, groomed, trained. These you just oil. High security is fine, high maintenance isn't. Enter the Mossberg 500 and 590 Persuader shotguns, and of course also special purpose. The pump action shotguns you can count on for your security needs. They have the credentials and track record to prove it. In their commercial form, the Persuaders are virtual duplicates of the proven Mossberg military 500 and 590 models. The only pump-action shotgun ever to pass all stringent U.S. military mil-spec 3443 standards. Use the 500 Persuader at home and the Mariner on the water. These guns are dependable and economical, especially when you don't have to cover the added expense of chew toys. So a little bit of humor there from the Mossberg team. And of course you don't have to buy chew toys, but you do have to buy ammo, which unfortunately I think is a little bit more expensive than chew toys. But at any rate, like they said, the Mossberg 590 Special Purpose is used by the U.S. military. I think the Army, Marines, and the Navy. I don't know about the Air Force, but at any rate, it is used by various branches of our military. So I think it goes with, without saying that there are certain standards, high standards that are expected out of this shotgun. Now, to clarify one point, this is the 590 Special Purpose, not the 590 A1. The 590 A1 has a thicker barrel and also metal trigger guard down here, and also a metal safety. That's the only difference. So again, thicker barrel, metal trigger guard, and metal safety up there. On the 590 it's just plastic, and supposedly has a thinner barrel. A lot of experts say in the 590 the barrel is plenty thick enough. There's no need to actually get a thicker barrel because it's not going to add any extra toughness to the gun. I don't know why. I think it's the Marines that wanted to have a thicker barrel. Again, I forget what branch wanted what exactly, but the 590 model, it is a copy of the gun that's used in a lot of the military and also police departments. That's one thing I did not mention. A lot of police departments use the 590 Special Purpose, but the A1 was made specifically for one branch. It just wanted a thicker barrel. But again, this barrel is plenty thick. I'm not sure the exact dimensions of it, but it's tough. I mean, you can bang that around, drop it, whatever. It's not going to bend, in my opinion, and in a lot of other people's opinions as well. So don't get too caught up in that. But I just want to kind of throw it out there that the A1 has those specific differences. And actually, when I was looking for this gun, I was going to get the A1, probably because I'm a sucker for added value, whether or not it means anything or not. I just wanted the best of the best kind of deal, but I couldn't find one, so I stuck with this. And actually, it's probably about $100 cheaper, maybe, than some of the A1s. So, and in a way, I'm actually happy with this model because, why have the added weight of a thicker barrel when it's not necessary? But at any rate, let's move on a little bit. Mossberg shotguns, they are known for their excellent quality, and they definitely have a name for themselves that speaks of the reliability and also affordability. This gun, jumping ahead a little bit, this gun has a manufacturer suggested retail price of $622. To be honest, I think I picked this up for just under 500. Okay, so really, you know, you can really save a lot or buy it for a lot under the suggested retail price. You know, again, I got it new for just under 500, which to me is an awesome price to pay for such a quality shotgun, one that you know is going to last and is going to be there for your protection, God forbid you ever need it for that reason. So again, the Mossberg name is pretty much synonymous with quality. Now, moving on to philosophies of use, the bottom line is this is a tactical combat shotgun, defensive shotgun, whatever you want to refer to it. It's that and only that. This is not a hunting shotgun, and I just want to make that point clear because sometimes people may be looking for a hunting shotgun, perhaps a shotgun that can double as both hunting and defensive shotgun. And to be honest, that can be a very hard task to find a shotgun that can double both as defensive and as hunting. The reason for this is the barrel in here, it's not choked at all. Defensive shotguns just don't have chokes in there. Usually they're meant for close quarters combat, so you want to have that spread. Now this barrel has no threads in it, so there's no way of putting a choke into it. And if you were hunting with a shotgun, typically you want to have a choke to keep the pellets, the BBs, the balls from spreading too far at longer distances. And this year I managed to go out hunting a little bit, small game, and with squirrels, I mean, I shot squirrels probably, 35, 45 yards away, and I think if I was using this shotgun, it may have spread too far at that range without the choke. So, and that's the main reason. Plus, the barrel length is actually shorter than what you're going to find on a lot of hunting shotguns. So, just to clear that point up, definitely, this is a combat shotgun, and it's not meant for hunting. So, if you want something specific to hunting, you're going to want to check out maybe the Mossberg 500 line of guns. And they have so many out there, it's, there's just no way of keeping track of them. But the good thing is, you're going to find something in your style that you're going to love. Okay, now shotguns, a combat shotgun is typically going to be used in close quarters combat, which I already pointed out. And generally speaking, that's probably going to be within the range of 25 yards. As you will see on some of the videos, or part of the video footage that I'm going to include in this review, you're going to see that the spread really starts to pick up around 25 yards. I mean, you have about 18-inch spread. So, if you're shooting at 50 yards, God knows how much it would spread. But a lot of people do agree that for a combat shotgun, you're going to be using it within 25 yards. So, if your main concern is home protection, look no further than the shotgun. A lot of people ask, well, what's the best gun to buy for home defense? Well, it's not going to be a handgun, in my opinion. In fact, really, and anyone that knows anything, a handgun is never the right choice if you can have a larger gun, rifle or shotgun present. The reason for that is handguns are just simply compromise between size. Okay, now I love guns, handguns, you can carry them and conceal them with you when you're on the go, whereas you definitely couldn't do that with a shotgun. But at your home, I mean, you can put the shotgun beside your bed, on top of your kitchen sink or stove or your refrigerator, whatever it may be. You can just keep it there and you're not worried about the size and weight because you don't need to conceal it, you don't need to carry it around day to day. Now, some people do choose to buy a handgun for home defense because they also want to be able to carry it around with them, which is fine. And if right now you have no guns and your budget for right now only affords you to have one gun, a handgun is definitely a fine option to consider. But definitely where the main goal is home protection, shotgun just rocks. That's just the bottom line with that. So let's move on to some of the specifications of the gun here, and hopefully you can kind of see the gun a little bit. I just can't really put the full thing in camera view, at least how I have everything positioned, so I'm probably going to move it around a little bit demonstrate things as we go along. Now, this is specifically model 50668. Okay, the Mossberg 590 Special Purpose model 50668. And again, just in the 590 Special Purpose, they have all kinds of models, various rounds that it holds, various sights, various grips. Some have the pistol grip, much like an AK-47 would have. Some have heat shields. Some have, you know, peep sights, ghost ring sights, regular BB sights, little ball, so on and so forth. You're going to check out their website for more details, and I believe it's, I don't know if it's mossberg.com, but certainly if you Google Mossberg, you'll find their website, and you can just browse through their whole line. They give you perfect details and stuff. Now, this review is intended for the 590 Special Purpose in general, but obviously some of the specific parts are unique to the model 50668, so just kind of keep that in mind. Maybe if you don't like, for example, the ghost ring sights, you just get a different model that has something a little bit more into your taste. But anyways, this comes in 12 gauge. Okay, now 12 gauge is probably the most common shotgun round available today. It's just, you know, a very powerful round, and you know, it gets the job done. There's a tremendous variety of ammo available for the 12 gauge. We'll kind of leave that a little bit for the firepower section, but it is in 12 gauge. Now, this particular model holds 9 rounds, okay? 8 in the magazine, 1 in the chamber, 9 rounds total, which is pretty awesome firepower for a shotgun. You know, your hunting shotgun, you know, it probably holds maybe 5 rounds in the magazine. And if you have it plugged, only 2 rounds, I think, depending on what state you're in. But I think a lot of states limit it to 2 rounds in the magazine, 1 in the chamber. But 9, again, you know, 9 shot. Again, whenever they refer to 9 shot, that does mean 8 plus 1, or 8 in the magazine, 1 in the chamber. For a shotgun, that's pretty powerful. Now, I believe all of the special purpose ones have 9 rounds, or a 9 shot, but it depends, because there's so many varieties on there. I think you can maybe find some that have less than 9 rounds in there, but those might be the Persuader series, so just kind of keep note of that. But the special purpose is made for, again, for defensive reasons, so you want to have more rounds. You don't want to limit it like you would in a hunting rifle. The barrel length, 20 inches, which is pretty adequate for a defensive gun. It has plenty of barrel to give you a lot of velocity out of the ammo that you're shooting, but it's not so huge that you're likely to bump it in maybe a hallway or get it caught on something as you're maybe maneuvering around in a certain environment. Again, this is widely used among police officers and military, so the idea is likely they will be using it in buildings. So you don't want something extremely long. Plus, if you got to stash it in your trunk or wherever it might be, it is nice to have it a little bit shorter. A hunting shotgun usually has about a 28-inch barrel, so again, it's probably 8 inches shorter than a hunting shotgun, but of course everything varies. I do have another Mossberg shotgun, which I don't have out here today, that I use specifically for hunting, and it does have a 28-inch barrel. It's a Mossberg 500 series, and I forget the exact model. I mean, who's going to remember those numbers? Now, this particular model, again, the 50668, has ghost ring sights, which is pretty unique to see on a shotgun. You know, and it really depends on your taste of how you like to be able to shoot and aim. Now, I'm going to try to position this in such a way so you can see it. It's going to be a little bit difficult, maybe. Okay. Now, the ghost ring sights. Okay, I'm going to have to kind of tilt a little bit. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just really hard to kind of put up there, but okay, you can kind of see how you have that little ring in the sight with the white horizontal lines and a bright orange sight on the front. Okay, and you can line those up and aim at your target. I'm going to probably try to stand the camera up a little bit later to give you a little better idea of how that works, but that gives you an idea what the ghost ring sights are, which I'm going to say I like pretty well. It's a little bit better than just having the one bead on the front, because you get a little bit better alignment from the rear of the gun to the front of the gun, which means that you're going to be a little bit more accurate. Now you could argue that, well, in a defensive shotgun, you might be bringing it up awful quick and you don't really have time to aim, and that may be true, but generally speaking, you should have a little bit of time to aim, even if you have to bring the front of the gun up real quick to perform one shot. Your follow-up shot, you're going to be able to put them on target a little bit more accurately, I would think. So again, ghost ring sights, which of course, if you didn't like, you could remove and put other Mossberg sights on there, and I'm sure third-party manufacturers have different alternatives. But this model came with them, and I'm going to leave them on there. They're perfectly fine. Now, one thing I didn't mention is some of the Mossberg 590 line has Picatinny rails already built in, which is pretty sweet. If you wanted to, you could put a red dot sight on it, or, well, scope, which would be a little bit awkward on a shotgun, I think. But a red dot wouldn't be bad. In my opinion, I opted not to put any optics on this gun because I wanted to keep it pretty simple. I love red dots, but the problem is you need to have batteries in them, okay? And yeah, they last a long time, especially if you don't use them, but to me, you know, this is a gun that I'm going to be grabbing in the middle of the night, and I don't want to have to fumble around with turning on a red dot, okay? It's plenty accurate with the ghost ring sights, and again, considering you're going to be shooting it more than likely within 25 yards, in fact, maybe more like 10-15 yards, you don't really need a red dot. Heck, even I think a bead sight would be more than sufficient. But definitely the ghost ring is pretty cool. I like it, and I'm gonna keep them on. Again, that comes down to your personal preference. Maybe you like it, maybe you won't. Okay, now as far as choke on this gun, it's listed as having cylinder bore, which means that there's just no choke on there. So again, there is no way of adding a choke onto this gun. So if you think that maybe you want to be able to choke it, keep a stronger pattern, this is not going to be the gun for you, bottom line, because there's no way of putting a choke in here unless you were to replace a barrel, which becomes fairly expensive, and in which case you'd probably just want to buy a separate shotgun. Okay, in fact, I faced that as I wanted to have a hunting shotgun. There was just really, when you go to buy another barrel and chokes and all that, it almost becomes as much expensive, the high prices would be to buy another Mossberg shotgun. So, and that's what I did. I bought another Mossberg shotgun, a 500 series. So if you want to choke, don't get this gun. That's just not the gun for you. But for special purposes, defensive reasons, I don't think you need one. Okay, I mean, I can't imagine you wanting to shoot this really beyond 25 yards. If you're in the open field or something, you're going to have to switch to some type of tactical carbine, whether you're an AR guy or an AK guy. You're going to want to go to something like that. A shotgun's just really never intended to have long range availability on it, or ability on it, I mean. Now, I would be interested to see how a slug goes through this gun, and you might find that it's actually pretty accurate. Of course, I mean, that's just the awesome versatility of the 12 gauge. There's so many different rounds. I've never shot a slug through here, but I would suspect that you can get pretty awesome accuracy with a slug. Okay, so you wouldn't really need a choke for that. But again, if you wanted to take it out to 50, 100 yards, I would say that the shotgun's just not the best choice for that philosophy of use. But if maybe you only have a shotgun and you want to be able to extend out, you can think about getting the slugs, which I'm sure would do pretty massive damage at 100 yards on a person, on a bad guy. But let's not talk about choke anymore. The overall length of the gun is 41 inches, so from the bottom of this buttstock pad, recoil pad, all the way to the muzzle, it is 41 inches, which it's fairly long. I mean, it's not a huge length, but it's not something that's going to be concealed easily. But again, that is not the philosophy use of this gun. Concealment is really not an issue. But it is something that if you had to fit in the back of your trunk or maybe in a small closet, I think it would fit just fine. Heck, put in your golf bag. You know, when you go out golfing, if you go out in a bad area, I guess that's a possibility as well. Now, some other things to consider, which to me don't mean a lot, but I'm going to talk about nonetheless. The length of pull is 14 inches. Now, I did print out a diagram just to give you an idea of what length of pull is. And here we have it on here, if you can see, LOP or LOTP. And that is measured from the middle of the trigger all the way back to the buttstock, length of pull. And that kind of is used to describe, you know, how much areas in between the trigger and the buttstock, you know, how you'd have to place your hand, your fingers, your arms, and all that stuff. So if you had short arms, maybe you want to keep track of the length of pull to make sure it's pretty decent. But again, it's 14 inches, which is standard. Most shotguns, I think, are going to have 14 inches or around, depending. The other two figures, or the other two measurements that I have that are listed for the gun, is the drop at comb, which is 1.5 inches, and the drop at heel, which is 2 1/8 inch. Okay. And I'm going to show you again kind of what those are. You got the drop of comb, which is here to the sight plane, and the drop at heel, which is back here all the way to the sight plane. So again, the drop at comb, 1.5 inch, drop at heel, 2 1/8 inch. I'll be honest, that means virtually nothing to me. I understand that it may be in some instances that would be important to a person, but to me it makes no difference at all. You know, with any gun you have, I mean, yeah, you want to try to make it fit to your, you know, your style of shooting and holding and all that stuff as well as you can, but sometimes you have to adapt a little bit to the gun. And you can see there's nothing extremely different about it. So this has your traditional shotgun stock, you know, no pistol grip. It's very comfortable to hold, and you know, if you're used to shooting shotguns, you're not going to find anything different about this. Again though, some of the Mossberg Persuader series and the special purpose series are going to have pistol grips. Now, I've heard more than one person that seems to know what they're talking about. One was a gun shop owner, another one I think was a reviewer on YouTube, and I can't remember who it was. I see so many videos, but a lot of people, and even other people I've talked to, my friends and such, just say that the pistol grip on a shotgun, at least in the Mossberg line of shotguns, just wasn't that good. It was actually a little bit more painful to shoot that way. You know, shotgun, a 12 gauge, has a lot of recoil, so it's something you want to have a very firm buttstock on. And apparently the pistol grip, because the pistol grip, I guess I should say, the buttstock on it, I think it folds up. It's very similar to an AR-15 style rifle, and it just was a little bit harder and just awkward on a shotgun. So unfortunately myself, I haven't shot one with it, so I can't tell you personally what I would prefer, although I kind of tend to agree with the experts that have already told me about it and what they think of it. I agree with them, and I suspect that they are right. But definitely, at least with this style buttstock, I mean, you're perfectly fine. And just to point here, this is a hard rubber here, but it actually gives quite a bit, so it absorbs a lot of shock. I shot 10 rounds today, and you know what, my shoulder doesn't hurt at all. Now, I didn't shoot them one right after another or anything, but you know, shooting double-aught buck, you know, it definitely is going to have some recoil, and it's good to know that you have something that's going to absorb it a little bit. Now, heck, if I shot 50 rounds in a row, guess what, I'd probably be hurting a little bit right now. I don't care how big you are. After a while, I think a shotgun's going to start to bruise you up a little bit. Okay, now with those measurements out of the way, the finish on it is a matte blue. I'm not exactly sure of the scientific process that they go into doing that, but it basically is extremely rust resistant. Although, you know, with any gun, you want to take care of it the best that you can, but if you have to kind of carry it in a damp environment for a while, I think it's going to hold up well with occasional oiling and cleaning. And right now you can kind of see how clean it looks. Even with the dirt and stuff, it still maintains a very clean appearance. And I've shot this in wintertime. I've had it outside during different training exercises, And no, I haven't seen any rust on it yet. But again, you know, I would say, I'm not going to say tremendous care of my guns, but I definitely take pretty good care of them. Hopefully, you guys do too as well. You know, you want to keep what you have operational and in the best condition possible. But it's definitely going to have some room for maybe laziness. Maybe you bring it in from a wet day and you're tired, so you don't worry about wiping it off. I think it's going to hold up to minor abuses like that, but sooner or later something will give. Now the stock, they say, is a synthetic black speed feed, and that's just kind of Mossberg's line of stock. But to give you an idea, if you like this particular stock, again, it's a synthetic black speed feed. And the weight of the gun is 7¼ pounds, and that is unloaded, of course, which isn't too bad. Remember, this guy is holding 8 rounds in the magazine, so this magazine tube extends the whole length of the barrel of the gun, which is what I like. Some guns, some shotguns, in fact a lot of them, especially if they're hunting shotguns, the magazine tube just doesn't extend the full length of the barrel. To me, that sucks. Any defensive shotgun. I understand if you're hunting, you're limited to the 3 rounds anyways, you don't really need it to go that far. But in a defensive shotgun, I think it sucks if the magazine tube does not extend the full length of the barrel, because you're just wasting space essentially when you could have a little extra tubage on there. Now yeah, the tube being longer adds to the weight, okay, no kidding, but I'd rather have that extra weight and be able to carry more rounds, because a shotgun is kind of limited to the amount of rounds that it can carry anyways. But 7¼ pounds, you know what, it's pretty light. I can manage it pretty well. Again, I don't think this is something that you're going to have to carry around all day long. It's a special purpose, so you know, if something happens, God forbid someone starts breaking into your house, or if maybe you are law enforcement who has to go through a house, traverse different rooms and stuff, you know, you're not carrying around all day long, you're just carrying around for a little bit. The weight's perfectly fine, and even fully loaded, I don't think it's going to weigh anyone down too much. Now firepower, we've already kind of talked about this already. 12 gauge in and of itself is just an awesome round. There are a lot of options. Whoops, the paper's blowing away a little bit. But there's a lot of options in 12 gauge. Even if we're talking just defensive rounds, you got the double aught buck, triple aught buck. I mean, you have rounds like the bolos that have 2 massive balls attached to one another. You have the fléchés, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, where you have basically little tiny arrows inside. You have the dragon's breath that shoots out fire. Some of these are probably a little more novelty than anything, but there are just so many rounds. There's one round, like a jungle something or another, where you have a couple double-aught buck-sized shells, and then you have some bird shot that's just made for different reasons. But and to be honest with you, if you had to, you could load up all kinds of custom-made ammunition. I mean, you'd want to be careful with that, but right now ammo, at least in the United States, is pretty available, which is awesome. But it is nice to know that, hey, maybe if for some reason ammo becomes scarce, you have access to making some of your own custom rounds. And I've only mentioned a select few of the rounds, defensive rounds available for the shotgun. I am using double-aught buck. Let me pull one of these guys out here. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Oops, let me set it back up if I can. This is a Remington Express double-aught buck, and it is 2 3/4 inch shell that has 9 .33 caliber balls in there, okay, or pellets, whatever you want to call them, and that's pretty powerful. And that's what I'm using, and that's what a lot of people I think are going to use in their defensive shotguns. And it's going to take a person down. In fact, it will take black bears down without a problem. I know a police officer in the area who had to respond to a call in it, like in a small town, where a black bear went up in a tree. He shot it once with a 12 gauge round and it died immediately. So you got plenty of defensive power even for large animals such as a black bear. Okay, now, you know, in terms of one-stop shops, or did I say that right? One shot stops. I think a 12 gauge is probably one of the best ways of getting a true one shot stop. And there's a lot of debate, you know, what is a one shot stop? I mean, who actually shoots just one round and waits for the bad guy to go down? Of course, that's a little bit more true with handguns, where you'd have to shoot multiple rounds to get the job done. But guess what? With a 12 gauge double-aught buck, if you shoot someone center of mass, you know, I don't think you're going to have to do it again. Okay, I think they're going to be down and out and probably dead in a matter of minutes, if not seconds. I mean, if you connect with all 9 rounds, that is going to be massive trauma to them, and they're going to stop what they're doing. And believe me, if someone's threatening your life, breaking into your home, and you're threatening your family, guess what? You want to do what you have to as quick as you can to eliminate that threat. And I am definitely a big advocate of self-defense and defense over your family. Again, a shotgun's just awesome. So, you know, handguns are great, but when matched up to a shotgun's going to be much more powerful, you know, as long as you can carry the shotgun where you're at. And in a home, of course, you wouldn't really have to carry it, it's just there. Now, as far as operation of a shotgun, it's going to take some proficiency. A 12 gauge just kicks, that's bottom line. It has quite a bit of recoil, although it's not, you know, excessive. Okay, I would never ever call it excessive. It's just a matter of shooting enough rounds through the shotgun that you're capable of absorbing the recoil, you know, putting your weight into it, leaning it forward a little bit, and realizing that it's going to kick a bit. But what I find is that a lot of women and children find the recoil a little bit too much for them. Now, there's plenty of women that shoot shotguns, so, you know, I don't mean any disrespect against perhaps my women viewers or any women out there, but I've definitely come across enough women that have shotguns and love to shoot that just find the 12 gauge a little bit too much. I guess just something about us guys that just likes to have a little harder punch to it. So the bottom line is, this isn't a gun that anyone can just buy and expect to use it when the day comes. You better be practicing with it, which I believe that's true for any gun, be it handgun, rifle, shotgun, what have you. You need to get out there and practice with it. But with a 12 gauge, and you know, there are definitely plenty of kids, you know, maybe 12, 13 years old that shoot it just fine. But of course, they've had practice. So if you expect, you know, your family to kind of join hands with home protection, which is excellent, be sure that you have time to go out there, train them on it a little bit. You know, maybe at least shoot 25 rounds through it, just get an idea. And you don't necessarily have to shoot just the double-aught buck. You can buy the cheap number 8 birdshot, usually 100 rounds for around $22 at Walmart. Okay, and they kick just about as much, in my opinion. So to me, that's a awesome way to be able to practice shooting the 12 gauge. You know, you don't have to spend a lot of money on buckshot. Although this double-aught buck, again, you can get at Walmart 15 rounds in a value pack for around $11. So to be honest with you, that's not a bad price. So it's something I would stock up maybe on a few boxes of, just to have around the house in case you need it. And I would hope that 15 rounds would last a lifetime. But you may even want to shoot a few rounds of a buckshot through. And also the pump action shotgun, which I don't think I've mentioned yet that it is pump action. I think it's pretty obvious to anyone who knows a little bit about a shotgun that it is pump action. That takes a little bit of getting used to. You know, you have to shoot when you pull the trigger, shoot a shot off, you have to pump it all the way back and then all the way forward to eject the round and then load a new round into it. It's not hard, but I think some people who are new to a shotgun, and especially to the pump action, have a tendency to not pull it all the way back and then push it forward, which means that the old round is still in there and you don't have a new round in there. So again, you get out there and practice. Just don't expect to know how to shoot it right off the bat. Now, I've shot guns all my life, so, you know, getting this was no different than any other shotgun that I've shot for the most part. I've shot pumps before. Again, this isn't any different. So if you're used to that, the learning time is almost negligible. Now, the bottom line is the Mossberg 590 Special Purpose is an excellent weapon an excellent defensive tool to be able to protect yourself and your family. It's pretty affordable, again, you know, maybe around $500, although Mossberg has cheaper solutions out there. But for a gun of such quality and firepower, I think 500 is relatively inexpensive, especially knowing that it is a good quality shotgun. 12 gauge ammo, again, very widely available, and it's pretty inexpensive given how powerful it is, especially. So it makes a perfect choice for home defense and even, you know, offensive, for the offensive if you are law enforcement, or if perhaps you have to go into another person's house, maybe a family member, and protect their life. Who knows? I mean, chances are you have a friend or a family member who might not have guns, maybe can't afford them, maybe they don't want them, and heck, if you ever get a call saying, hey, help, someone's outside, you may have to go on. Okay, so to conclude my review here, I just want to actually give you a little bit better idea of how this gun works and operates. This is a force to be reckoned with, and again, if someone breaks into my home, this is going to be the gun that I'm going to have. Probably have a nice handgun on my side in case I run out of ammo, or God forbid there's a jam. It's always good to have a backup. But the point is, this is the gun I'm going to have. Now, this particular model, I'm going to kind of give you an overview of what it is. Again, depending on which 500 or 590 special purpose you get, some of the options are going to change a little bit. Like, for example, on the pump here, some I see have a little, I don't know what you'd call it, a lanyard that you can stick your hand in there. That way it's a little harder to slip on it. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, this pump has some nice grooves in there that it's very easy to grip and just be able to pump. Okay, that's nice. Now, this particular version, again, you know it has 8 in the magazine, 1 in the chamber, but guess what? Look down here. You can fit 2 more rounds in each side. Okay, there's 2 on this side and 2 on this side. So again, you know, you're carrying around 13 rounds total. Whoops, drop it. Which means that you have even more firepower. Now, of course, you know, once you run out of the 9 that you have in your magazine and chamber, you would have to quickly kind of drop the gun, pull them out, load them up in, which, you know, takes a little bit of proficiency at. You can see I'm not going extremely fast at it, but whoops, I guess I got one more round up there. And of course, I don't even know if that all went on camera, but the bottom line is being able to lug around 13 rounds of 12 gauge with you, you're pretty well off. I don't foresee having any defensive issues where I'm going to need more than those 13 rounds. But you never know. For your typical home invasion, I mean, 13 rounds are going to be more than enough. Although I'd like to think of different situations like Hurricane Katrina, or the Rodney King riots in California, where people were just going freaking crazy. If your neighborhood is under attack by gangs of looters or whatever it may be, God forbid, mind you, you're going to want to have firepower. So it's nice to have the extra rounds. Okay, now, again, the ghost ring sights, I'm going to try to position this so you can see it. It's pretty hard, but you can see how you got that bright orange front sight. You look through that back ghost ring to try to line it up, and it's pretty easy to get on target with it. I haven't had too much problems doing that. Again, I had to adjust my sights a little bit, and again, these sights are adjustable. With the ghost ring, the ones I have on the back here, okay, let me try to get in the picture. What you can do is this little round thing, if you turn it counterclockwise, it moves this sight up, which means you can move it up, or which means that you would be shooting higher. Or you can turn it clockwise to move the ghost ring down to where you're shooting lower. Mine, for whatever reason, came, I think, doggone near on the total bottom, so it was shooting low from the factory, which is fine. Found it out today and decided to lift that up a little bit. The front sight is also adjustable for windage. Basically, you can kind of just see that on there, where you can move it left or right. You'd have to get something hard and tap it one way or another. I would imagine that Mossberg makes a sight adjuster for that. I don't see the need to really purchase one, but I would probably get a straight edge screwdriver on that, put a little bit of masking tape over it or duct tape, to protect the finish on the gun, and with a hammer maybe tap it one way or another over. And again, mine was shooting a little bit to the right. I was able to adjust it a little bit out here today, but I'm gonna have to wait till I go back to my house to adjust it, because with the tools I have out here today, I was afraid I was going to scratch it. Now again, we're kind of loaded up here, so I'll go ahead and pull that round out, get it out of the way. The Mossberg 590 features a dual extractor. Now let's see, like this is one side of the extractor, but there's one on the other side that you may or may not be able to see, which means that there's two hands that are gripping a round out. And I'm going to show you how it just pulls that round out. Okay. Again, I'm going to, for safety reasons, get some of these rounds loaded back into the buttstock. And then it has the anti-jam elevator, which, if I can position it right, you can see how it'll just totally lift the shell up, and it's supposed to be designed in such a way that it's doggone near possible for the gun to be able to jam. Okay, and I'll put that last round in there. So again, it's well made, and I haven't had a round jam on me. Again, it's, when you have a pump action, you're not very likely to have any jams. So after I get done shooting, okay, if we have no rounds in there, I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger. And after you pull the trigger, just push it back all the way, push it forward all the way. You don't have to worry about being delicate, just kind of do it hard. Not ridiculously hard, but firm and hard enough that that spent round is going to be discharged, and that you're going to be able to load a new round up into it. Now the safety, it's an ambidextrous safety. It's right on the top here. All you do is push it forward to arm the gun so that's ready to fire, and push it back so that it's on safe and won't fire. And whenever you press it forward, you'll see a little red dot indicating that it is indeed in the firing position. And that way, if you're left-handed or right-handed, it doesn't matter. You're going to be able to actuate the safety the same way. Okay, just give you a little better idea. Okay, there we go. So, if you had to shoot, you could quickly bring it up, push the safety forward, pull the trigger, like so on. And that's pretty much how the gun comes from the factory. You do have this very nice recoil pad on there, and it says Mossberg Speed Feed, so that's their line of recoil pads. It really absorbs the shock. It's pretty awesome. Now I went ahead and put a sling on here. Got this at Walmart for about 20 bucks. It's a very nice cushion pad. It's leather. Nothing fancy about it, but it gets the job done. Again, I just wanted to have something basic where I can strap on my shoulder and be able to walk through the woods or wherever I am and not have to worry about carrying it. The last modification that I made to it is the tactical light. Now, this is a Phoenix LD20 light. It's not meant per se to be a tactical light, but it's a very well-made light that absorbs a lot of shock, and including being on the end of a shotgun, which it would have to be able to absorb a lot of shock. And so far I've probably put 50 rounds through it with this light on there, and it's functioned perfectly. And how I put that on there is I got just this little, it's a UTG shotgun clamper. I'm not really sure exactly what it's called, but it's made to go on a shotgun and give you one Picatinny rail. And then since I now have a Picatinny rail on it, I was able to use a scope mount, a scope ring, to clamp on there, and I kind of fashioned a flashlight through there with some cushioning to allow both for a little bit of shock absorbent and also make it tight so it stays on there. So that's my own rig set up. It's maybe a little bit rough, but it's actually pretty sweet. And with this LD20, I believe in the high mode, like right here, it's 180 lumens, something like that. And I can also get a little strobe effect going on, which is actually pretty cool to be able to do. That may kind of screw with people's heads, the bad guy's head, to where they're really kind of in a state of shock whenever they see that. But either way, if I have to go outside of my house to see what's going on, I can turn that on and really light up the area. It's not night here, so You may not have seen too bright, but that's a pretty cool feature. But again, I mean, that's kind of my own modification, so you're not going to see that option from Mossberg. But the LD20, the Phoenix brand, that's spelled Phoenix, F-E-N-I-X. Let me try to get that like in, okay, I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully you can kind of see it there. Yeah, it's in focus now. That way if you want to look that up online, you can get on Amazon and definitely a lot of other websites for around $60. And I'm not going to go into any great detail about that flashlight, but it's awesome. Okay, lasts for quite a bit of long time, especially in low mode, and has a microchip in there, so it assures constant level of brightness until the batteries are dead. So again, I don't want to go into any great detail, but that's what I have going on in this gun, and it's pretty awesome. There has been a few times in the middle of the night where the dog started barking, and I went outside to check things out to make sure everything was right, and never had to shoot anything with it, which is cool. But I was able to go out, flip this light on, and just kind of illuminate the whole area up. So it's an awesome thing to add on there. And heck, you know, as far as modifications, you know, red dot wouldn't be too bad, or even an actual laser sight on there. Line that up, man, you know, that's going to intimidate someone. You start putting a, you know, red dot on them or a green dot, that's going to make them think twice about harming you or trying to break in. So, okay, that's my review. Hopefully it gives you a little bit better information on the Mossberg 590 special purpose line. Again, you know, my model, which I already forget, what I've stated a few times, just zoom back in the video if you want to know the exact model, and I'll go ahead and annotate it here just in case you want this exact model. But some of the other models, you may like their sights better, who knows. There's definitely plenty of options, and if you're looking to protect yourself, this is the guy to go to. Thank you. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention about is this little gondolier that I have. Okay, I believe this holds 56 rounds, and right now I have this guy loaded up with 56 rounds of double-aught buck. And you know, if I'm ever in a situation where, whoops, I gotta wear this right, but if I'm ever in a situation where, you know, there's, you know, kind of a without rule of law situation where people are riding and stuff, man, I'm gonna throw this guy on. And 56 rounds of double-aught buck, you know, that's a lot of firepower. And I know there's going to be some people making smart-ass comments saying, oh, who do you think you are, Rambo, blah, 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 blah. But guess what? You know, it's nice to have some shotgun shells kind of armed up and ready in case you ever need it, God forbid. And 56 rounds will protect you and your family for a while. And this gondolier, I think it was probably $10 or something on Amazon. Nothing special about it, but it does hold the rounds and holds a lot of rounds. So, combined with this gun already holding 13 rounds, I mean, you're going to go through and have a lot of firepower. Okay, that's it. Okay, so today we're going to go ahead and test out the Mossberg 590 Tactical Shotgun. This is for my review. I'm going to go ahead and see the spread pattern at different yardage of the double-aught buckshot. It's shooting 9 pellets that are 33 caliber apiece. Okay, so I've marked off 10 yards there. Okay, there we go. I actually put a red mark on there. I'm going to aim for that red mark. Double-aught buck, see what the spread pattern is. Okay, now we see I shot, I guess, a little bit low. Honestly, I haven't shot this a ton to actually know where exactly the center of the buckshot is supposed to go. One thing about buckshot is it does vary, but you can see here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Oh, there's one right here, 8, and this is a double hole, so 9. So I would have been a little bit low and to the right on that target. So I'm going to cover that up and try another one. So again, it's actually still shooting a little bit low. I'm going to have to get accustomed to where the sights are just shooting at. That's one thing I've never really checked too much with this. I've always thrown a bottle out and shot rounds at it. And it's pretty hard to miss, but I guess where I'm holding the sights, it's actually shooting below the target. So from now on, again, I'm going to aim a little bit higher. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I think one of these holes I forgot to cover up the last time right under there. In fact, I know I did. So the spread is probably about 6 inches at 10 yards. I mean, assuming, we look kind of at the center of where all the action's at, we got about 3 inches to one side, 3 inches to the other. So approximately about a 6-inch spread. And that's not bad. I mean, if that's a person at 10 yards, I think you're going to be able to put all 9 balls on target. Okay, this time we're at 15 yards, just 5 more yards out. We'll see how far it spreads from here. Now it's still overall shot kind of low, but even at an extra 5 yards at 15 total, it really started to spread out. This time, I mean, we're probably talking about a 12-inch spread all overall. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's quite a bit of spread. I mean, at that range, if you're shooting at a person, it would start to possibly shoot back behind them, possibly getting collateral damage. Okay, now we're at 25 yards. Okay, and we'll see how this pattern, I can already tell it's pretty wide. So at 25 yards, I mean, heck, we got about 2 feet or more. I mean, here we have one right in the bullseye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm not sure where the other 2 went. It looks like they went right here, 8 and 9. So they're already off paper, and I mean, that's probably about 18-inch spread total. Okay, and that shot went off to the right a little bit, so I'm going to try another one at 25 yards just to see. And I have the camera pointed at a little bit closer and at an angle, so let's go ahead and shoot another one. Still, for some reason, seems to be shooting to the right of the target. I doubt I flinched twice. But this time, let's see. Again, about another 18-inch spread. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 9, I'm not sure exactly where it's at. Oh, okay, I think right over here we have number 9. Okay, I finally got the shotgun sighted in here pretty well. So I'm going to take one last shot just to kind of see how accurate it is. And we're going to do it at 15 yards. I might have a little bit of adjusting left to do, but no big deal. Okay, excellent. Let's go ahead and see how we did. Ooh, I better zoom out. So again, you can see that the average is somewhere around the red. But again, at 15 yards, I mean, we got a 12-foot spread pretty much in every direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if that were a person, we were aiming for center of mass. Probably every single round or every single ball went into him, more than likely. But still at 15 yards, you're getting some spread. So if you're not dead on, you're likely still gonna miss them with some of the balls. but still hit them more than likely. A lot of people say, well, you don't really have to aim with the shotgun, just point it in the general direction. It's not really true. I mean, you have to aim definitely as well as you can, but there is some room for error. And even if you were to hit them with just one of the 33 caliber balls, chances are that it's going to do quite a bit of damage to them. But man, if you hit them with 9, holy crap, they're going down. No questions. Unless they're Superman or something.